I am sick, so I cannot taste anything and I cannot smell anything. So I'm going to have to make buttery biscuits this morning. We'll have cube steaks, and I'm making cottage cheese with canned pears that I have done. But I can't smell anything. But we're going to make light whole wheat buttery biscuits to go with this. This always happens. And I've been fighting this. I mean, everybody's been sick around me, so I am surprised I didn't get sick faster. I've got the chills, and my head's congested, and I'm a little slower than normal. But hey, look, 72, I can be slow about a few things. And it's true. But anyway, that's what we're making today. And I know I'm running late. That's because I'm sick. I always run late when I'm sick. So we need a tablespoon of baking powder. Nobody's on right now. That's all right. I can understand it. That's me. Always. So let's just turn you down, and if you decide to come on, you come on, or if you're getting ready for school, you're heading out to school. I'm just taking it cool. I'm just doing the best I can too. They say this stuff is dangerous coming around the flu. Well, everybody's been sick in the house but me for over a month now, and finally caught up with me. Not happy about it, but it did catch up with me. Okay? So anyway, let's go ahead and get these things done. All right, we're going to mix this. I need what do I need? Pastry cutter. So we're going to use butter in this and make a light whole wheat, which will be nice. Then we'll get those steaks going. What else? I don't even know. I am going to hard-boiled eggs, but I'm going to show you how I do them. Need my grater. But I do wish all of you good morning and hope things are well with you. My name is Sandy. Hi, everybody, and good morning. I hope all of you are feeling well. I am not so. I'm going to be a little slower today, but I cannot, because I have a head cold. I've been fighting. Everybody's had it for the last 30 days. It finally got to me. I can't taste or smell anything, so I'm going to be winging through this meal. And hi, Moon. Anyway, hello. I know you're from India, but I can't pronounce it, so I'm going to do the best I can. Oh. I don't know why, but they said a flu's going around and to be careful. I have. I don't think anybody else has been. So we'll call these light whole wheat buttery biscuits. Oh God, yeah. I mean, I tried to go to bed last night. My head was so just with fluid. And I've been taking apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon, and a cup of boiling water and drink. And I've been having it twice. I've been beating this, but it's like, last night, it was like my body said, that's it. No more. Just trying to get it. But I hope your family is feeling very well in Alabama. I remember driving through there one time in a hurry. We had to get to Washington, D.C. when I was in Texas. I don't know why we went through there. I thought we'd going through the top of them, but anyway, we went that way. Oh, I will be. I'm working on it. So anyway, we'll be making cube steaks. I think I'm only going to add salt and pepper because I can't, you know. I'll use my discard and all, but when I can't taste, that's really difficult for me. And smelling, I'm in my kitchen. That's what you're seeing is a little section of what, 2 feet by 3 feet that I work in. As big as this kitchen is, it has no, I'm making biscuits and cube steaks, and I've got cottage cheese that I showed you how to make a couple days ago, and I had canned some pears, and we're going to have that with it. And anything that's going to be easy and doesn't get too complicated for me. But I want to make light whole wheat buttery biscuits. I think they'd be nice today. And I'm hoping I'll feel better. But if I don't, I'll crochet today and work on that bedspread that I'm working on and get it going, if nothing else. Coat your butter if it's frozen. If it's not, you'll have to work it into little pieces to where it looks crumbly. I like frozen butter, it's easier. Oh, America. Now I am going to be adding my discard into this instead of using, let me see, can I? Yeah, I'll use this. Okay, because I just fed my cultures, all right. I don't need this, I don't need this. I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of the culture because it's thicker than milk and stuff. And I'm noticing when I use it, I have to, if I'm using it. Okay. See, being retired, if I get sick, I can take the day off. I don't have to call in sick. And I don't have to get my mother's permission. I saw something on Facebook that said, it was talking about, if I want to stay out, retirement gives me everything that I wish for as a young child. I can stay out as late as I want. I can smoke if I want. I can have a drink if I want. I just started laughing, and I have an allowance. That's your Social Security. Oh, thank you for joining. We're making light wheat buttered biscuits with cube steaks. I'm going to make them simple because I can't smell or taste right now because I'm sick. Which is annoying because I just got this crazy idea. I have wine apricots I canned last year, right? And I'm wondering, you know, I started going that direction. Well, thank you very much. And I was thinking, if I don't make that into muffins, I wonder if we could pull that off with biscuits, you know, just to go out on a limb. You know, sometimes I do this. Now, I might have to add more than 3/4 of a cup of my discard because it's thicker. I'm not sure. I'll work it in and we'll see. And if I have to add more, I'll add more. And we'll just keep on going. Because when you use your discard, it doesn't always go to the exact measurements that you have with biscuits or other things. So we have to work it that way. You'll have to go over there, okay? So I got the counter here. Yeah, we're going to have to add more discard. This is not going. So that's what I'm going to have to do. This is approximately a cup at this point. But remember, even if you use milk, you use less because milk is thinner. If you use sour cream, you're going to add a little more. And if you use the discard, you're really going to use more in your biscuits. Come on now. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this by my hand. This is not going to work. Or maybe a spoon. You know? Maybe I should use a spoon. Well, I'm going to treat it like bread. Though they'll tell you not to. Oh no. You never get sick. It sounds delicious. I'm from Australia. No biscuits be made. I drool over the overseas biscuits. Ah, how do you spell it? Biscuits is Biscuits. Biscuits. Country fried steak. God, I haven't had that since I left Texas. See? As you can see, you do use more when you're using a discard. Okay, you're going there. We're going to add some more discard in here. And then I'm going to work it in again. This happens all the time, don't worry. What is my discard? That's extra when my jars get full of the other, with my live cultures. Now I'm going to have to work all this in so we can make biscuits out of it. If it doesn't work, I'm going to cry. Now I've got to work this in. I'm doing it right now. Discard is actually extra sourdough cultures. I have quart jars with a sponge culture and a liquid culture. And when those jars get full sometimes, because we didn't eat enough of what I made with it, I sit there and I put it in another jar and I call it discard, and I don't feed it at all. I feed the other jars, but I don't feed this one. And this is giving me a time, but I'm going to work this in. And don't worry, they'll come out light anyway. Yeah, it is versatile. It gives you the sourdough taste that you're looking for. And there's no waste, which is nice about it. I've got to work all this, and this is going to take a little bit. So, it's really good. Matter of fact, I'm learning how to convert the breads of today into sourdough cultured bread to wear. And I'm trying to make yeast. I have it sitting in a dark place in one of my bathrooms. And they say it takes, 7 days. It's just starting to get a wine flavor to it. But it's taking longer than 7 days. I think it's because it's the cold weather and stuff. So I'll just wait. It's coming together. I know you're probably saying, is she ever going to get this together? These biscuits will taste good too. And I try to, because I just don't want just plain biscuits and white flour, because it's not complete or balanced. Because I know what you're talking about. You get those antiques that they're handed down in your family. She doesn't have to understand. There's a pride when you do it. You sit there and say, my grandmother used this, my great-grandmother. I had a picture that had come across a wagon trail. I lost it. I was very upset. and it was my great-grandmother's. So I was happy. It's history. I mean, don't let people discourage you about that. I've had things missing that go back generations. Well, we got it in. We get ready and cut it. I'm just finishing up the last of this. They'll never understand. Some people like everything new. Then you have other people that like things that are old. Okay, now that we got it all in, I'm going to go get a rolling pin. Excuse me. When you use your discard, you'll notice that your dough is, for the biscuits, is tougher because it grows. So it's going to help the baking powder. And remember, my butter was cold because I wanted to make buttery light whole wheat biscuits. Now they wanted about 3/4 of an inch thick. That's the standard form. Now when you cut them out as close as you can to each other so you don't have to do too much handling. Look who's talking. I did all that kneading, right? You get more cut out easier. Now, if you want to make them more buttery, you could sit there and melt butter before you put them in the oven. But I think this will be just fine. And you see with the sourdough, I don't even have to use flour. But how was everybody else doing? Okay. You do not have to grease the cookie sheet. Just go ahead and just do it. I don't understand why. We have 11 so far. As you can see, you get a good amount. Oh, I've gone off the rails since Christmas. I need to get back on track. Okay. When I was learning to cook, my mother said, you follow those recipes. You follow them like the Bible, you know. That was it. And I did. When I left, I said, I want to learn to make food more nutritious. And that's what got me into this. I didn't like being sick. I didn't like pain. And I didn't want to look like old people that really look bad, falling apart. And I had read that the body is capable, and this is the 1950s, which is so funny. They're now saying on YouTube comes across, it says, the body is capable of living 120 years. We just found that out. Now, that's not so, because the ARE it was given in a reading that the body is capable of living 120 years if you care for it. And I said, dang. I wonder if that really works, you know. That's me. This is when I want them all to be the same size. These are little things I do. So I was just thinking this morning, I said, God, if I live to 120, the teenagers of today will be dead by the time I hit 120. I said, what a thing to think about. But that's what I think about. I'll think about things like that and the Bible and God. Now we got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, we got 16 biscuits out of this, because when you use the discard, use more liquid. Okay, but I'm going to cook them for about 12 minutes. Now, if you want to know when a biscuit is done, and if they're cooked, you don't go by the color they look. What you do is you take the middle biscuit, you pry it up and you check it. You just gently separate it. If it's still moist in the middle, just lay it back on, put it in, leave it in only for a couple of minutes longer. Yeah, but I was just thinking about that this morning when I got up before I crawled out of bed feeling as miserable as I do. And I said, gee, if I live to 120 years, the teenagers of today will be dead before I even get onto the other side. Yeah, I know what you mean. 18-year-olds will drive you crazy. I mean, I don't even know if children have chores anymore. I'm going to have to steal some of my yeast for what I want to do next. Now we're going to get these steaks going. Let me just clear up just a bit. Okay. I don't want this flour. I want to use the flour over there. Now, I have 4 cube steaks. I always talk about my discard is the best thing to use because it's better than sour cream, it's better than buttermilk, it's better than milk or egg to coat because it holds. Now, I can't believe the world, and I'm 73. Oh, I'm going to be 73 soon. Oh my God. We're in the second, third, in about 7 weeks, I'm going to be 73. Yeah. Another good breakfast, and I know men love this breakfast, women. It's not something that I have often. I mean, it's once like in a blue moon, so you know we don't have blue moons very often, as they say. But to get a ribeye steak and have biscuits and hot coffee, your husband doesn't need anything else. Well, he might ask you to sit across the table, and he wants to enjoy his eyesight while he eats. But anyway, that's the breakfast. I can't think of one man that would not want to eat is to have steak for breakfast with his coffee and his biscuits. And he might even want some eggs on the side as well. Anyway, I'm going to use my discard. First, we have to get black pepper. Oh, God. Hold on. My nose is taken off without me. Ugh. And people say, why did you learn to cook? Because my mother said, if you want a good man, the way to his heart is through his stomach. Let's see. I need my mortar and pestle. I got the black pepper. I'll probably take... Did I clock these? No, I did not. All right, it's 12, Sandy. Let's say you've used 2 minutes. We'll check it at 10. That'd be 22. Why didn't you tell me to clock those things? Okay, I am going to go heavy on black pepper because I just happen to love it on my pepper steaks, on my cube steaks. And I'll put a good tablespoon in, but that's me. That's right, only as long as you sit across. Now I'm going to use iodized salt because I do not want a fish flavor with my steak. this morning? I had, like I said, vinegar water this morning, and it was apple cider. It's the only vinegar that alkalines you, so you won't get sick. That's why I'm not worse than what I usually am. Hi, Georgia. We're in Georgia now. I remember Gulf gas stations. '99. Oh my God. God blessed her for living that long. She only had another 21 years and she would have lived the full extent of what a human body is to live. Okay, let's see. All right, I am going to, nope, not that one, this one. Yeah, I'm going into the sink. All right, I'm going to take the rest of my discard. Don't worry, I'll put some more in here. Oh, well, there's a little bit. I'm not washing, I'll just put it back in the refrigerator like that. Okay, I'm going to pour all this black pepper in here. Come on, spoon. Okay, where can we put this? Okay, now I can't taste this to know if this is going to be enough salt, so we're just going to sort of wing it. That might be enough. I don't know. I can't taste it. I'm not going to know. Now, something people should know about cube steaks. Cube steaks are steaks. You do not have to cook them completely done if you don't want to. And so don't think that, well, if it's a cube steak, I have to. It's beef. And if you like your steak a little on the red side or pink, you do not have to cook these cube steaks all the way. By the way, they make excellent sandwiches too. Oh, okay, Vicki. Oh my goodness. Somebody had commented on my detergent channel. I deleted his comment. He was telling me that nobody uses soap today. Well, when you have somebody like me who's extremely sensitive to chemicals and filth, I can talk from experience. I have lost the skin off my face numerous times from filth and from detergents. Matter of fact, Downy was what you used to use children's clothes. I don't know if they still do it today. People have changed. That was the soap my mother went through all the detergents of the time, and she couldn't find, yeah, they're cube steaks. And I couldn't use any of the detergents because of the chemicals in them. I can't even use dish soap unless it's a certain one or anything else because my body responds to chemicals. It peels. And if you give me a soap and it's got these chemicals in it, my skin opens up on my body. I break out with rashes and stuff. So I make my own detergent. And he says nobody does it. He doesn't know homesteaders and stuff. We still use it. You can find those things in the store. So I am very, Downy has, so yeah, I have to be extremely careful with the kind of soap. So I make my own detergent and it gets my clothes clean. Now, if I have a grease stain or something, it's going to stay. Grease does not come out. Material will absorb the oil, but he was insulting me from one end and everything else. And so this person doesn't understand that some people are very sensitive. But finally, my mother found a soap I could use, and it came through the small town, and she finally found it. And then when we came up here, she tried using other ones because she couldn't find that one. I started breaking out all over again. But my skin is, and if I walk into a filthy house, I mean, it has to be really filthy, this face will let me know. I can feel the itch underneath, and then my skin starts oozing and cracking, and then I'm all red on the face. I mean, you could see it just dripping off my face. I just did the video, Missy. I'm just going to say the first name on these. You can find it. I think I did it 2 days ago, 1 or 2 days ago. It was a video. So look in the video how I make detergent, how to make your own detergent. So you should find it. I didn't do a live on it because what happened was it was raining, and when I tried to do a live, you let me know. A lot of you would let me know that I wasn't coming through clearly, so that's why I did it. But you will find it there. You can try it. And what's funny is I spent $50 and it lasts me 9 to 10 months. 9 to 12 months really. So I save a lot because I usually spend $10 every month. And the only other thing I use is bleach for my clothes and woolites for my sensitives. When I clean house, I use, well, of course, we're going to wax the floors. And I'll use the bleach to clean the bathroom, and then I use Windex and Pledge, and that's it, because I'm so sensitive to chemicals. They're putting a lot of chemicals in, and now they're finding out these new things that women are using in the kitchen are causing them breathing problems. Hello. You know, they're doing it to us. Yeah, oozing right off my face, and I'm like that for 3 or 4 weeks. My husband would go shopping because I was just crying. I mean, it was really bad. And it looks like, I could say I look really bad. Well, I'm just going to say I really look bad. And I could feel it coming. It'd get under my skin. I could feel it crawling. And it's not just my face, but it goes on my hands and everywhere. You are very welcome, Missy. I hope you can use it. It's a very simple one. It has and I've always, from the time I was little, my mother used 20 mule team and baking soda and washing soda. So these things I'm very accustomed to. She's used them all my life. And I continued using them, but when that man, he ranted and raved like I was, like some mad person and didn't know what I was talking about. But he doesn't have the kinds of problems I have. No, I only use baking soda and water to clean the refrigerator. It disinfects and cleans it up very nicely. I hate cleaning the refrigerator. That's like cleaning the stove, but I only use baking soda. I had heard people use bleach, but you destroy the inside. That's why you use baking soda and just tepid water. Okay, now we got these done. All right, the biscuits they should be just about ready to come out, so we'll get those out and then we'll get these started and we'll see how these biscuits are. Okay, I need a rack. Oh, my nose. Every time I think I'm ready, I just hope it doesn't go down my throat or I'm going to choke on it. All right. So the biscuits will go on the stove top here. Don't worry, I'll get you over here. Put the biscuits in the bag burner. Okay, I'm going to check these biscuits. Let's turn and take a look. I always take one in the middle. We'll find there's the bottom. Look at that. Now I'm not going to eat this, but I'm going to open and we'll see how it is. They're done. And that's the inside. And these are light whole wheat biscuits. That's why we only put so much whole wheat in it. All right. Turn you off. Put you on the back burner here. All right, now let me get my excess flour and we will see. A lot of people don't know how many chemicals are in their food anymore. My sink is getting loaded. This is excess flour. I collect it when I do stuff here. I collect it and then I'll sift it and stuff. I need something to put this on. I'll do a bowl. Wait. So I could not tell you what flour is in this. I have no way of knowing, except that I just collect it, put it in a bowl, put a lid on it, and this way I just keep rotating and I don't have to throw a lot of flour out. I try not to throw things out. In the winter, the compost, because it can't bury it in the yard, has to go into the trash. I think I have some semolina. It looks like I have semolina in here. I can see the semolina. It's yellow. So what did I do? Did I make semolina biscuits, I think? Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I use semolina for. Yeah, a lot of the things came from the older people who taught me. And then Julia Child, and then James Beard, and then nutritionally, the ARE, and Adele Davis, and then the reading and the research and all. And some of the things that Casey said, people are now saying, we just found out that we can. No, Casey was talking about in the 1940s. So it's not new. I could sift it, but that's all right. I'll be fine. Now see how that sticks? I love discard for this reason. I think there's rye flour in here as well. I could be wrong. Now I took a rack out because we're going to have to dip this twice into the flour. Why? Because when you do the first one, it absorbs. But if you want to get that crunchiness, you dip it a second time. And that's what I plan to do. Do them twice. I told you he gave me some big pieces. I love butchers who can give me this. And these are beautiful cuts. I'm sure the cow would say, yeah, on my body, I got great use out of it. Somebody had asked me a question, and he said, what about marijuana? Can we take this? God said in the Bible that all the plants, and the fruit of the plants. And I thought about it. It took me a couple of days, and if you're listening, you'll get your answer today. When we were in the garden, I'm sure we didn't have weeds and stuff that we have today and poisonous plants because we hadn't sinned. But we had sinned, and with the flood and all. And if you remember, when Eve fell, they talked about thorns and thistles and stuff that we were going to have to deal with. And that might actually have come about with the sin of man. And that's why we have marijuana today. But I do not know if it was a plant at that time. I can't answer it, but I do know that it is stated point blank that this happened after the fall, that things changed. Now, I'm putting on my second coat now. I'm actually flouring it underneath you because I can't get you to see everything. So I'm letting you know what I'm doing. This is the second one coating that I'm putting on. And you'll see it looks better. And then we'll get the butter and oil. And we'll get these fried up. I like to fry them up in butter and oil. And some people don't, but I do. Now when I go to clean this flour that I use all the time, I will use a sifter to get the pieces and particles off of it, out of it, I mean. See, this still feels wet. When you do the second coat, they feel so much drier. So they have a better coat on them. That's why I use my discard. I love using my discard. And and it still has that flavor in it. I hope those rise. I hope they didn't go bad. Okay, I have another one here. I have no room on the rack for it, but I can leave it in the flour. But you can put any seasonings with this. I thought about making beer biscuits. I said, why, Sandy? You can't taste anything, so why bother? But a buttery beer biscuit would be nice. I thought sour cream, too. I said, that'd be good, you know. Sour cream and black pepper. You know, just think of making a mashed potato. Okay, I'll leave that one there for now. Now, I made cottage cheese, and I didn't show you what it looked like the next day, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. You can see that it's drier than what you get in the store, but you can always add, like I said, light cream or whatever kind of cream you want. But you see, it's not floating in liquid. It's not. Now, somebody had asked me about using cottage cheese, other recipes. All right, I have a bread recipe. I hope you're on so you can hear that. Okay. I'll make the bread. They use ricotta cheese. Now, ricotta cheese is a little different than making cottage cheese. I'll show you how to make your own ricotta cheese too. But when I make the bread, I'll use the ricotta, but you should be able to use the cottage cheese. If you buy cottage cheese, you're going to have to strain the liquid off of it. But if you make your own cottage cheese and it's dry like this, you will have no problem, and you can use it in place of the ricotta. So it is a bread. Yeah, just give me time to make it right now. I've got things going in my head. Listen, I thought about making white apricot biscuits this morning. My mind goes there, you know. Let me get a frying pan for these and get this going. I think of things all the time of what I can do while I'm crafting. I get quiet and an image will come through or something, and I start thinking about how can I finish something up that I'm doing. I bought hankies because I want to make some trims on some hankies because my hankies are really wearing out. Hello, Andy. I'm just going first part of the words because it seems on YouTube you have to cram everything together, so I'm just going to go on the first part of it. Okay, I'm going to move you over here. You already know what I'm doing there. So I will be making that bread probably, oh God, just look for it, okay? I'm sorry, I can't give you a time. Hi, Vicki. So, but I do appreciate all of you. I hit over the 7,000 subscribers, and I have 3 who have joined for some of those private recipes. I really want to make a part of it. I think in part 3, come cook with me, and we'll try maybe once a month to make something together at the same time. I know, it goes on like that in my head. I just sit there and go, I wonder. Now I have the brownies, the fudge pumpkin brownies that I made. The pumpkin got lost because the chocolate was so strong. But I have a cream cheese brownie, and I'm thinking if I could put the pumpkin with the cream cheese and then stir it to cut back on that chicken and make it more of a marble. I'm wondering how that would go. But I sit around and sometimes I wake up and I absolutely know what I'm going to make, and other times I don't. It's just like, I don't have to sit there like, and let's see, what do I want to make tonight? Stand in front of the refrigerator or something. I mean, I went and bought duck breast. We are going to have that with a citrus sauce. And that sounds so good. I even know an apple cider sauce, I think. I got the apples over there, so we're going to be making that too. It floats in my head and I get these wild ideas. Like I said, can I make wine biscuits? I've made beer biscuits, but what about wine biscuits? I'm going to put 4 tablespoons in here with some oil. Okay, let's put this butter away. I'll be right back. Oh, shoot. Did I just say you did, idiot? Oh. I'm going to have to make my all blend oil again. Yeah, they float through my head. Like I said, my mother got me started when I was very little cooking, so it just sort of happened, you know. But she was always follow the recipe, follow the recipe, follow the recipe. I always wanted whole grains, and she liked French bread, white. I know that recipe. 1 3/4 cup water. You know, I could just start going through it. I don't even like making that bread recipe anymore. That was the bread recipe that she always wanted me to make. Okay, we got the biscuits done. Let's get this done. The reason I'm talking is because people do ask me questions, so I do answer them. So if you don't like that, you can leave. I'm not going to cut them off and treat them like they're nothing and say, just shut up and watch what I'm doing. That would be rude and inconsiderate. So we'll heat this up. We'll get these steaks going. And that is pretty much it, except for putting the cottage cheese and the canned pears that I've done. So now we're at this point. But I know a lot of you say, how long have I been cooking? I've been cooking a long time. My mother never had anything instant. And remember, when I grew up, where I grew up in a small town, there was still a lot of canning going on. And there was a lot, and bread was not bought in the store. Everybody made it. So these are why I know all these things. And then when I got on my own, I started learning how to make sourdough. I learned how to do these other things and a lot more. Yes, I am. Okay. Come on, I need you to melt and get hot so we can get these steaks in there. I don't think they're going to fit in here. Nah, you ain't going to fit. We're going to need a bigger pan. Yeah, the steaks aren't going to fit in this. And you're saying, is she doing what I think she's doing? Yeah, I am. It's very typical of me. You're not too hot. Okay. Okay, we're going to put this here. Put this up here. Directly, or we'll take the coating off of it, and that's not what we're doing. And the meat is sitting with the flour, which will be drying up on it quite nicely and absorbing the fluid. We're going to need some more oil. Now, because I have to make my all blend oil today, I think I have everything. I'll show you how I make mine. I make a half a gallon at a shot. It has all the acids that you need for your body. And it has a lovely flavor as well. I use it a lot. Okay, we just have to wait for this to get hot. There's nothing more I can do. I have to cook. My family has to go to work and stuff, and they take their lunch, so I cook early. And I know one woman had said breakfast, but today, because I was sick, the only thing I could have was apple cider vinegar and a cup of hot water. Okay. Now the object of this is not to stick, so you have to move it around. Sometimes it sticks on me, but if it doesn't, we're doing good. Okay? And I have it pretty high up, but it's still like a sweet time. Okay. That's why you see me move it around, because I want to make sure it doesn't stick. But anyway, I was happy to hit 7,000 subscribers, and I thank all of you for that. I really, really do. I'm going to be so mad. It's not sticking yet. You notice I said yet. I had just pickled fennel. I had never done that. Storage. What is it talking about storage? Well, I'll check it later. If my storage is crowding up, I'll just buy that thingamajig and empty it all out again. So remember, these steaks do not have to cook all the way. Good morning, Adrian. And thank you, Vicki, very much. Now you're getting where I want you to go. They're going to stick. They usually stick on when you flip them over. And you're going to get any sticky. That's usually where they're going to do it. So you just keep moving it around and pray while it's cooking it does not stick. And yes, I know I'm running late, but that's all right. I bought sardines because I had planned to make a sardine spread for breakfast with crackers and fruit. And I thought that would be nice, but it ain't going to work. Not with me sick like this. And yes, I eat crazy things for breakfast. See, as long as you can move it around, and you have it high enough, it shouldn't stick. You pray it doesn't stick. See? Isn't that nice? That's why I do it the way I do it. And sometimes they do stick. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I get so mad when it sticks. Let me get this other one done. See, by allowing the flour to sit like we've done, it gives it a nice hard crust on it. Because it dries up on it, so you have that between it. Because it's too expensive. If you have children and everybody's going to have a ribeye steak, you're out $40, $50. So you really have to be careful about it in that aspect. Getting ready to go now? I love that song, Harvest Moon. See, this one's a bit heavy in the middle. It feels like it's going to stick, and I don't want it to. I'll be right back. So if you have the money, and it's just you can have a ribeye steak with biscuits and coffee, and it'd be great. I understand it. I had to buy 4 ribeye steaks because they came 2 to a package, so I bought that because we didn't know we wanted a standing beef roast or did we want ribeye steak, so I bought both of them. But we wanted the steak instead, so we had the steak, and there was one left over, and I said, good, I'm going to have that one morning for myself. As you can see, I'm not going to share it with anybody. Now, I like having 5 and 10 grain cereals. The 10 grain has a taste of cream of wheat, and the 5 grain has more of a taste of oatmeal cereal. So if you want to try them, at least that's what they taste like. Grits was not one of my favorite cereals, but I do eat it. You're supposed to put soybeans ground with the corn, which gives it the protein and the other nutrients it has. So make sure that if you buy a grits, that it does mention that soybeans are ground into it as well. No, because I don't have to put it on a rack for dripping. It's fine. But these don't really have it the way I'm doing it. It's looking very nice. I guess if you use lard or you do batter frying, you have to put a paper towel under the rack. But mine aren't. They're done in some oil and butter. I just make sure that I do have a coating of butter and oil, at least 1/4 of an inch. But ow, Jesus! Sandra, don't put your finger in the heat. But that's why I put 2 coatings of flour and stuff on it. Yeah, ouch. It did hurt. Now see, I have to be careful. I've got one more to do. And you see the oil's getting low, and I don't want to burn it. Now remember, these steaks do not have to be cooked all the way because they are beef and they are steak. So if you like your steaks a little on the medium rare or just medium, let's see. I know this is going to burn here. little bit more butter. You can see that's going to burn. I don't want it to burn. For the person who asked about fried chicken, I'll show you how I do my chicken, and my chicken's always done. And yes, you can notice that my oven is slightly crooked. That's because we had a couple of trimmers. I had a straight one until it shook. And then I said, okay. One of my sons said, Mommy, can we have bacon and beef liver? And I said, yeah, we'll have that Saturday. They said, good. I really like that. Did you write that recipe down? I said, no, that's in my head. You'll have to watch me. But see, these aren't greasy the way I did them. You see how nice they are? Very, very nice. So you don't want to lose your coating. Make sure you keep moving this meat around. Oh, I got towels all over. I got towels over there, towels back here, towels up. I use a lot of towels, and they're falling apart. They're all stained. You can tell the new ones from the old ones. The old ones are in bad shape, but that's all right. I'm going to continue using them anyway. When we're done here, I'll show you how I hard boil eggs and get the white of the yolk of the egg so creamy and it's not rubbery. So I'll show you how I do that. That'll be next. I'm doing each one so you can see how each step is done. A lot of people say I boil eggs. Yes, but the white is always so rubbery. What you want to do is get that white creamy. That is the whole secret of the whole thing. Sandra? This one wants to stick because I'm running low. But as you can see, they came out nice. It's the little things that we do that take time, and if you don't do those little things, that's actually what causes the problems, or the meals aren't quite up to where they should be. Like I canned my bone stock. I was so tired. I had a long day and I didn't feel good. These are done. That I'm going to have to strain it when I open it because I didn't do as clean a job as I normally do. This is a problem. If you miss a step, this is what happens. Okay, let me get my sauce. What happened here in the sink? Get a saucepan. Now I have to admit, I've been trying to make soft-boiled eggs using the same technique. It has not worked as of yet, but I'm still working on it to see if I can do it. If one of you get it down, share it, please. Where am I going to put everything? Hold on. I'm running out of room. Alright, now I'm going to put you on this. You're going to behave yourself there because you're really, really hot. Okay. Okay, let me get my eggs. By the way, sourdough prosciutto bread tastes delicious. All right, we're going to have 2 eggs each because I know when you're sick you need extra protein as much as you can. These are going with the steaks today. You need at least 1 inch over your eggs of water. Most people say, I already know that. I know you do. There's some people on this channel do not know this. Okay, so we have to work with them as well and be fair with them. They just think they put water and eggs on, cook it till the water evaporates. You need about 1 inch above them. Okay, maybe I should put it on this burner so you can see better. Hold on, I'll move it. Okay, we'll go back to this burner. Did I? Yes, I did. All right. Now we're going to let this come to the point where we're going to put the lid on it and we'll be clocking it. Okay. Some of you are writing, so I have to put my glasses on so I can see again. Hi, Polo. Boo Boo. We cooked cube steaks. We made light whole wheat buttery biscuits, and that sounds good. I don't use a sago cheese, but I'll try it. Of course, we already made the biscuits. The biscuits are the light whole wheat. That's what I had to make room for because I'm running out of room. I've got a sink full, I've got a counter all packed up, a drain board. So when we get these eggs going, I'll sit there, and when I finish this will be the end of the video when we get these eggs done. Good morning, 93. All right, remember, I'm just taking the first parts of your name. It's easier for me to do, and that's how we're moving forward on this. I don't know how any of this is going to taste. I'm going to eat it, but I couldn't tell you. I hope it tastes good. I don't know if it's going to taste good, but that's because I can't taste right now. Did I put that in the sink? Dang! It's not what I meant to do. I'm putting the flour in my bowl that I save to work with. So the person who wants fried chicken, we will be making fried chicken next week. I cannot make it this week. I already have the menu lined up for this week. I hope to get through all of it. I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm going to try. I am working on it. And thank you, Polo. So let's see. I need my pears. Where did I put my pears? I have them somewhere. Sandra, you took them out. Where did you put your pears? Okay, got them. See, I can my own pears, so this is what I'm going to do it with the homemade cottage cheese. I want to try in the summer to make blue cheese ice cream. I don't know how that's going to go, but we're going to try it. We'll finish these up, I think. Yeah, we'll hold the lid for now. So these are coming to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and start packing some of this up for my family. make a bed for cottage cheese, I like using either the purple tip or green leafy or iceberg. Very careful. I want a mild green. Set it on so you have that color contrast. Cooking also consists of making sure that you have a nice color contrast for the people who come to the table, because if the table's all bland looking, they're not going to eat. So you have to learn color schemes as well in the kitchen. A lot of people don't think about it. They'll leave the food on the stove and say, help yourself. But cooking is actually an art form. People don't think about it. Women have demoralized cooking to such a point. It is. See, I'm going to take this. I tore off the bottom. I'm going to turn it in a circle. And it sort of comes up on the edge. I'll show you. Give me a minute. You see how it comes up on the edge like that? And you put the cottage cheese and the pears on it. Now, if you have it on a plate, you can dress your plate up with it if you wish. So it's always important that you dress things up for your family as well. This is where I had to learn to set the table properly and do color schemes. Make sure you only have so much starch at the meal. Make sure you have your vegetables balanced. I don't always make it, but I try. So I can't be condemned for that. I do try. We're getting there. You see how that water is? I'm going to get you as close as you can to see it, okay? Let's see if I can turn you down. See how it's starting to boil? Can you see those small bubbles coming up? I'm not sure if you can, but there's small bubbles coming up. I'm going to put this lid on, and you're going to turn this off. And what you're going to do, my home is crowded already, Mac, okay? So, all right, we got the cottage cheese and the green. You see the color combination, how it's coming together? This is what we're thinking about, trying to do this. Now I'm going to take the pears and put on it. If you have cherries, you can add cherries to this if you want. We're not overly fond of the cherries, so we don't always have them. Okay? Because I'm sick, I'm not going to eat as much as he is, because he's getting better and I'm going down. Now see? See how nice that looks? And this is just where the vegetables are going to be. That's the vegetables. We're actually having fruit in place of vegetables today. And remember, we clock these eggs 15 minutes. Okay. And that is one container full. The next one will have the steak and the biscuits, and I'll get a jam. We might have grape jelly on the biscuits. That would be good today, right? Yeah, I caught it. I caught the bug. So see, very simple, packed lunches. This is a very easy one to do. Like I told everyone, I have made mistakes in cooking, believe you me. Now, if you want some of the juice from the pear, you can pour it over the pears and the cottage cheese as well. Zinc is a natural mineral. I I know that if you're pregnant and you want good contractions, the last month you take zinc cream and you rub it under your armpits before you go to bed, because that's where zinc is absorbed very easily into the body, and it gives you good contractions, and it also causes your labor not to be as difficult. They're better. But the zinc is in the mineral bones that I cook. I showed you when we were making that salad, purple cabbage. I had pressure cooked those bones. I wanted you to see this is how I cook them until they fall apart. I can actually grab them and break rib bones and everything else. What else are you asking? That's pretty much it. We just have to wait for the eggs. But I think I'm going to use some grape jelly that I made. Has anybody ever made prune juice into jelly? Or if you've heard about it, because I'm going to try doing that. I'll give you 5 minutes to answer that question. The answer could be yes or no. It's just an idea that's, like I said, it floats up here. Like I saw the spirited apricots and I said, why not? I shouldn't, but I do. It's just like when I start crocheting. I've been making this bedspread. I showed you the motif, and okay, thank you, 993. And all of a sudden, I'm getting images on how I want to do the edging on it to make it unique, you know. But that way, I was just playing around one day, and it said, "Oh, do this and do this," and I said, "You know, I need to put," and it just came out. I didn't expect it. Oh, we have new people? Then welcome aboard, all of you. And like I said, thank you, all of you, all 7,000 plus. I was surprised. Uh, I'm always surprised because I don't think large, I think small. Let's see, I gotta put a few things up here while we're waiting. I still have to wait for the clock. God, Sandra, start cooking. You get so dirty so fast. Why do I bother with an apron? I'm always getting dirty anyway. I've already got my honey and apple cider vinegar mixture. I'll use that if I start coughing. That's my cough syrup that I made. For the lady who wanted the cream cheese pastry for a pie, you have to join to get that. I think it costs $2.99 to get that recipe. Thank you, Vicki. Okay. I'm sort of putting stuff up. Look, I really have a mess over here. I really have a mess. Now, I told you you're not supposed to add milk to your coffee, but I found this espresso maker. I really like this espresso maker. It's a small one because, listen, I got very little room in this kitchen. I have a big room and very little counter space. This kitchen needs to be worked on. I'm hoping to get it sometime this year and we can start making some very unusual coffees. We'll be going around the world trying iced coffees, hot coffees, cream coffees, and going in all different directions to introduce our taste buds. But you're not supposed to have milk in your coffee, I know. So I won't be doing it every week because I know what it does. It causes a reaction into the stomach, which gives an acid burn to your throat. It was described in a reading as poison, though it's mild. Thank you, Vicki. And yeah, but I can't taste or smell anything. Everything's going to be bland for me, though. You would be enjoying it, but I can't. I'm just going to eat it, and don't ask me how it tastes because I couldn't possibly tell you. I don't know. My nose is acting up. My taste buds are acting up. But I try to bring things to you to show you how you can make your food more nutritious, and if you wish to use some of these, go ahead, use the recipes. I put them out there for you. And if you see me reading a recipe, you know I'm going to change it because I'm going to say, I'm not going to use all that white flour. I am not going to use all of this. I'm not going to use all of that. Now, if you don't use the water from the canned fruit that you have, you know who loves sugar just as much as you? That's the plants out there in the garden. They love sugar. So if I don't use the liquid from this and I don't make a drink out of it or jello or something, I will sit there and give it to the yard. My throat's going. It's getting ready to act up. Oh, shoot. If I start coughing, I'm going to be coughing for a good 5 minutes. That's what I don't want to do. Oh, God. Well, if I do, you'll know why. Okay, we go. 7 more minutes. Let me put some dishes up while you're waiting, and I'm waiting. We're waiting for these eggs. I hope you try making your own sourdough culture. I did a couple of videos showing you. Do not assume that in 5 days it'll work. The ratio is 1.5 cups of cold water and 2 cups of bread flour, and you beat it every 12 hours. Set it by a window. Spring is the best time because that's when all those microbes are in the air and they're hungry, which is really great. We like to feed them. Set it by a window, and every 12 hours. In other words, you stir it in the morning like crazy. You stir it at night like crazy, and don't cover it. Unless you put it outside, you'll have to put cheesecloth off to keep the insects out. That's why I leave it in the house by a window so I don't have to worry. And what you will see is it'll start swelling and it'll have bubbles in it. Keep on beating it and you'll notice it swells more and you have a lot of bubbles. Then you know you've captured those little creatures in the air and you've got your sourdough culture. The only thing is you have to remember that once you catch it, you've got to put it in a jar. I use a quart jar. Now, don't fill your quart jar all the way up. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to keep growing, okay? But you start feeding it before you put it in the quart jar. You're going to give it 2 tablespoons of flour, bread flour. You have to use bread flour, and 2 tablespoons of bread flour to 1.5 tablespoons of cold water. Beat it in, put the lid on, put it in the refrigerator. You're going to feed that every day. When you get that well established, I guess tomorrow if I'm cooking, I will tell you how to make your liquid culture, or if I make bread, I'll show you, because we have to weigh that out in ounces. We can't measure that out, so you need a scale to do that. You need, for the liquid culture, after you get enough of your sponge culture going, you take part of it and you put it into another jar, and that'll become your liquid culture. It takes about 5 days to bring it to a liquid culture, and what you add is 1.5 ounces of bread flour to 2 ounces of water, and that's the feeding for it every day. Make sure you mark which is which, or you're not going to know which one. And according to which recipe you make that I have in the past, you'll see you use your liquid culture or you use your sponge culture. Now, if the jar gets full, get another jar and just put discard. Don't even feed that one. Just stick it in there and use it whatever you want to use it for. And that's when I use my discard. That's not the one I feed. That's the one I cook with, and just I'll dip the meats in it and whatever else. Baking soda peroxide. Good morning, Clint. Hi, Luke. How is everybody? I hope you're having a good morning. We're just waiting for the eggs. We got 4 minutes. Okay, so I'm drying dishes. I'm killing time just like the rest of you trying to get this done. I am feeling better. I can say that. The only time my family ever knows I'm sick is everything is so bland and say, oh, it tastes horrible. Well, sorry. That's when I just use salt and pepper. Sorry, that's all you're going to get. I was going to have some coffee with you this morning, but my son wanted to talk to me, so I couldn't. He needed to chat and get something off his chest, I guess. Hi, Thief. Why'd you write that? Why'd you use that as a code at Thief? Thank you. If you don't have special towels and stuff, you can take a napkin and put your biscuits in a bowl. If you don't have a basket, these are things that you can do to make it nicer. I'm going to go get one of my napkins and I'll be back while we're waiting. It's just a way of dressing things up for your family. Of course, they're not going to be here to enjoy it because everybody's out working today. And I'm going to be inside. No, I didn't make any gravy. No, I did not. And as you can see, the biscuits rise quite high. And that was just using a discard. So, because I ruined my baskets. I used them until they just fell apart. I haven't found a place where I could find baskets, you know. So I use bowls. But I really like the baskets instead. There, you have your biscuits. You can always dress up anything. If you have some bowls and they're part of an O set. Good morning. All right, let me see how I can. Peach Pachoni Walker. Did I say that right? I don't think I did. I think I messed your name up. Okay. Egg time. Okay. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, let me see. See, they didn't crack by doing it this way, they don't. Okay, you just crack through the shell. I have flour all over your feet. If you can see your little feet, or you could see all, I made a mess. Yeah, I missed it. Come on. Need to help. This is tender. These eggs are very tender when you do this. I don't know you. I'm not answering. I'm sorry, that's how I am. But you don't have to boil them the 7 minutes. Once you bring them to that point, this egg is not peeling clean, as you can see. It's falling apart on me. If you're uncomfortable leaving it 15 minutes, you can leave it 18 or 20. But the thing is it will be very, very, very tender. The white of the yolk will not be rubbery, and you know what I'm talking about. If you've eaten boiled eggs before, you know, you do not want to peel right. You're just going to give me a time this morning, this egg. My mother used to tell me, and my grandmother used to say, when they peel like this, it's because they're very, very fresh, Sandy. Come on, come on. I'm sorry, it's just, this egg is not peeling the way I want it to. It's going to do everything but what I'm asking it to do. I get some points it goes really nice, and then it just, okay. So you're going to look like you were in a fight, egg, and you lost. See, this is an egg that's been beaten up. He's really been beaten up. I'm trying to do it gently, and he's saying, I ain't going. I said, okay. But when you have the egg and you do it like this, it's very tender. If you want to leave it a couple of minutes longer, you can, but the white is going to be creamy instead of being rubbery. And nobody can tell me they don't taste it, because you can taste the difference. And when I get done peeling it, this is going to be, I don't know if this one wants to peel. They're just going to be nasty today. These might be really fresh eggs this time. Yeah, they're very fresh. They're not going to go easy today. Okay, well, anyway, they're hard boiled, but they're fresh and they're not peeling the way I want them to. And yeah, I just did it with another set earlier, a day ago. But anyway, they're going to give me a time. Anyway, they're not going to look good, but they're not going to be rubbery like the whites usually are. They have a nice smooth taste to it, and that is pretty much it. I'm going to say bye for now. I'm going to finish peeling these eggs, and they're definitely fresh. When they're fresh, they do this. So take care. Enjoy the day. Dress warm. Please do not get sick. I know you won't feel good at all, but if you do get sick, if you've got some vegetable broth that you make and some bone broth, mix it together with some salt. If you can't handle food, do that. If you have a cough, you can put equal amounts of apple cider vinegar and honey together and take that. It soothes your throat, and it also removes that phlegm. Okay, and if you want to alkaline your system so you don't get sick, you need a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar and a cup of boiling water. Sip it twice a day and you will feel a lot better. So I want everyone, there's something on the bottom down there. So I want all of you to take care and be healthy, okay? No, you get a cup, you put the vinegar in it, and you're going to pour boiling water over it. Then, as they say, drink it as hot as you can without scorching your throat. Well, fine, mine will be room temperature. You know, that's how I look at it. But whatever you do, do not take hot water from the faucet, because there are sediments in it that you can't see, but they affect your liver and they give you a problem in the long run, okay? So take care of every last one of you, okay? I mean, I don't want anybody sick. Stay as healthy as you can this year. That would be so nice if everybody didn't get sick in the winter. Wouldn't that be great? That'd be fantastic. No, 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 no. No, it's just water and eggs. Put the water 1 inch above your eggs. You bring it to the point where you see the bubbles. It's not boiling. You see bubbles on the edge and you see bubbles, a few bubbles coming up. That's when you turn it off, put the lid on, let it sit 15 minutes. If you want 18, you can leave 18 if you want, but they'll be done. But the white will not be rubbery. It will be tender. So I'm going to let you go now and take care. Bye-bye.